And hello again. Welcome to the Canadian Rockies. We're in Castlegar, British Columbia, on a pair of rivers, one of which is the Columbia and the other I forget. Anyway, we're on the ground here in the Beech Barren, and we're going to do just a very short flight just to get a little bit of really enjoyable mountain flying in. We're going to go right up the river to Nelson. We're going to pick up a VIP passenger and we're going to bring her back here as quickly as we humanly can. So we've been dispatched, and safety be damned, but we're going to get going here toot sweet. The engine's already warm. This is a quick turn. We're going to check the parking brake, make sure that it's on. Turn on the batteries, or as my grandpa Sidney used to pronounce it, the batteries. So the batteries come on, and then we're going to take a gander at our fuel flow gauges. We're going to make sure that our throttles are full open, our props are full fine, our mixture is full rich. We're going to, at least for the moment, facilitate warm up here. Just in case we're not warm, we're going to close the cowl flaps, and then what we're going to do is we're going to prime until we see fuel flow pop up here. If we prime much longer, we'll flood the engine. So watch this. You just go 1, 2, 3, peak off, and 1, 2, 3, and that needle peaks and you go off. Close these, open them about 1/4 to 1/2 of an inch. Make sure the brakes are on. Turn on the beacon, look around, tell everybody to get the hell out of the way, and we'll start the right-hand engine first. And we'll quickly reduce the throttle so that it is idling at a decent speed. You can hear the wind blowing. It is a very windy day here. We're going to be taking off with a wicked crosswind, and we're going to be landing at, well, you'll see Nelson. Nelson has got a great approach where you just shoot down and hug the edge of one of the mountains here, and then you make a late turn to final. And the approach back here to Castlegar is going to be almost as much fun. We're going to go up the river and we're going to loop around. All right, so let's start numero uno. And as long as you follow the right procedure, these engines treat you pretty nice. Okay, we'll get all buttoned up here. We'll turn on our avionics. We'll start squawking VFR. And we've got a 1/4 tank on each side. That'll be fine. It's only about a 30-mile journey, or maybe even a little bit less. We'll set appropriate takeoff trim right about here. And actually, we want... That's a long enough runway. It doesn't really matter, but we'll just, since we're used to flying that way, we'll fly with 1 notch of flaps for takeoff. Alright, avionics are on. We'll just check. Our oil temperatures are now above normal. We can open up the cowl flaps. That'll be fine. Alright, we'll just diddle the engine slightly so that the props are reasonably synced, so they don't make a racket. There we go. Alright, the other temps are fine. You don't generally mess too much, even at altitude, with the mixtures on these engines. They don't like to run lean at all. And I suspect that slip indicator is slipping because the wind is blowing our rudder. Let's take a look. Or the slipstream is blowing our rudder. Or there's a side load on the airplane from the wind, but whatever the case is, it seems to be doing it. And you can feel the plane judder a little bit with the wind. Alrighty. We going to flip on some panel lights, and we'll flip on the taxi lights. That's good, that's good, that is good. I'm not going to do run-ups in this plane because I found that you can barely notice the drop in the magnetos, and you run too big a risk when you drag these things of shutting down the engine. So I'm just going to pretend we did it. Alright, we'll get going. This is going to be a lightning fast trip. We're going to go as fast as we can, actually. So we're just going to absolutely burn the joint up. We'll turn on stall warning heat and pitot heat. Shut that up so that we can hear ourselves think. Alright, we're all configured. Let's head out to the runway. And this terrain is just magnificent. This is courtesy of, I believe this is Ultra HD Mesh from All Pilots. It's free. All Pilots, AL Pilots. It's AL Pilot X, I think it is. I'm not mistaken. We'll just quickly check our controls. We've already done the walk around. We've found that they're free and clear. Alright, that's all good. Test our brakes. They work. Very nice. This guy's been mowing that same patch of lawn for, about the last 10 years. Nice piece of scenery. It's free, and I don't know why there's purple dust coming up, but I suspect that's a rendering artifact. There's a few of them. If you look along some of the mountain tops here, you'll see some odd outlines and things. That's X-Plane 11 just figuring out how to render. Yeah, you can see it right up there. This is a beta. This is public beta 2. We're waiting for public beta 3, which everybody thought was going to have a nice piece of ground physics improvement courtesy of Austin Meyer, the creator of X-Plane. And instead, well, the reason why it was so exciting is because he's adamantly denied there's a problem for the last 20 years. You know, the plane's skidding all over the place. And then skidding all over the place from the wind when you stop. So with great fanfare, it was announced that he'd come up with some kind of fix, something that he'd missed for 20 years, and he finally got it. And it seems like the mountain labored and brought forth a mouse, because the first half of his post on it was an explanation of why the ground physics were absolutely perfect except for when the plane is standing still. So he fixed the problem when the plane is standing still. But if you've flown X-Plane and you've flown in real planes, it'll become immediately apparent that the ground handling on the landing rollout and things like that, or on the, as you'll see on the takeoff roll, is a lot greasier and slipperier and screechier and skiddier than it is in just about any real plane that I've ever been in. If they were that greasy and slippery, then there's a good chance that a lot of people would be just cracking up their planes on takeoff and landing, and except in tail draggers that doesn't usually happen that much. So, I mean, you can notice it's just slippery. Unfortunately, it seems he did not fix that, and he reaffirmed that the way he is doing that, the way X-Plane is doing that, is correct, and it's not. But he's a stubborn cuss, and it's nice that he got jazzed for fixing the other problem, and it's nice that he's jazzed about the product, and he's a very enthusiastic guy, and if it weren't for some of that enthusiasm, we wouldn't have such a good product. But like just about everybody in the development world connected with X-Plane, it seems, he's a little bit of a pain in the ass. Excuse me. Anyway, let's get the landing lights on. Get our taxi lights off. Turn our strobes on. Beacons on. Navs on. Mixtures full rich. Props full fine. Flaps are set. Trim is set. Rudder trim is set. The engines look reasonably okay. We've got, if I can see from the windsock here, a distinct crosswind from about there. So what we'll do is we'll rack the ailerons over just a little bit. We won't do it as much as we might, but just a little bit. And you'll notice that it will get squirrely on the takeoff roll, which is kind of too bad. I guess right about there will do it. And I think we are good to go. So let's go. See what I mean? That's the wind. And if a real plane did that, there'd be a lot of dead passengers. Now, some of that is because, gear up, some of that is because controls on a fake plane are a lot twitchier than controls on a real plane. The other reason is that X-plane tends to weather vane more, in other words, to point more into the wind than a real plane does. Or at least this plane, which is not an especially light plane, tends to weather vane as much as a very light plane, almost as much as a glider. So, you know, that's one of the quirks. But it's pretty nice otherwise. So we're going to climb up to 5,500 feet. We're going to reduce to climb power right now, which will be 25 pounds manifold. We'll pitch for about where we are. That's a decent speed. We'll bring the props down to 25 as well. Out. There we go. Bring flaps up and speed up a little bit. Just keep an eye out for red-tailed hawks. And we're basically just going to follow the river because Nelson is just about 3 river bends away. That's the entire length of it. The only reason I'm climbing this high is because I want to make the arrival a little bit fun for you guys. So up we go. We'll go up to 5,500 feet. And there we are. Begin to retrim. And bring the power back to cruise. Right about there. Bring the props back to cruise. Right about there. Adjust. I'm not going to use the prop sync. I'm just going to use my fingers. There we go. Get trimmed. It's a little bit windy. All right. There we go. Get a little rudder trim in. Make sure we take the right-hand fork in the river. Otherwise we'll end up in the northern Rockies, and this bend in the river will eventually take us to Idaho, and if we follow the Columbia the entire way, it'll take us out to Puget Sound. So we're trying to fly as fast as we can here. As a matter of fact, let's just give it a little zots. Give it a little kick in the keister. And trim down into it. There we go. All right. Looking good. That is Nelson right there, around the bend. So we're going to hug the right-hand side of the river, and we're going to make a left swooping, descending turn to final, which is going to be fun. Just going to lean the engines ever so slightly. A little more juice out of them. Getting 180 indicated, and at this altitude is probably about 200 some true. So that's nice. Alright, there's our field. And as you can see, we are considerably above it. That's okay, we're going to have some fun with this. This is probably not the right way to do it, but I timed out the runs, and it shaves just a little bit of time off. There's probably a happy medium of slightly lower that'll get you a slightly slower descent and keeps the speed up, and I don't know, you could probably, there are probably several ways to skin the cat. But we're going to do it the sporty way, because it's fun. Alright. We're going to have to slow down to the triangular notch between just about 152 knots, and that will let us drop the gear. I'll bring the props full, which will make us draggier. And we'll roll off the power, and we'll nose up slightly here. Going to get the warning. Okay, gear down. Now watch this. Here we come. Okay, off the power. Notch of flaps. You know what? I think we overcooked it a little bit this time. We're a little bit high. And oh look, it's loading scenery. Alright, we'll do an S-turn. We're going to go a little bit wide of the field, and we'll come in the other direction. You know, I don't know. Let's see. If it weren't loading the damn scenery, we'd be in a better position to judge this. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So let's follow the road. And we'll go right out to the golf course here. Do a quick S-turn. There we go. And oh, we got a crosswind. Hey. Look at that. Wow. Alright, sporty arrival there. Let's get on the brakes. There we go. Let's turn us around. Alright, we smoked us some brake pads there. And we'll back taxi as quickly as we can. And we'll pick up our passenger. What we will do is we'll shut down our number 2 engine. There we go. That way we can get her on board quicker without chopping her head off. VIP heads are expensive. Get reconfigured, get ready to go again. Wow, it's windy here too. Alright, there's the terminal. There's our our passenger. Spin past Mr. Gasman. And Cessna Boy. Oh, Cessna Boy. And there she is on the picnic table. We'll just get ready to greet her. Alright, there we are. Get the parking brake in. Alright, get the door opened. Why, hello, Mrs. Cleaver. Hop right in. Alright, wow, you hear that breeze? Listen to that. Alright, there you go. Now buckle up, Mrs. Cleaver. There you go. Alright, get retrimmed. And reprimed. Wasn't a perfect landing, but we do our best. Alright. Okay, clear. Ooh, hello. Alright, let's see. Temp's fine. Pressure fine. Got enough oil. Alright, looking good. There we go. Alright, look at that flag blowing there. Alright, let us get the hell out of Dodge. And we're just going to head right back to Castlegar. Oh, hello. Where we're going to do a nice curving approach along the river too, only we'll try not to misjudge it the way we did this one. Landed long too, you saw that. Uh-oh, birds. Oh, that's going to be fun. Okay. And I love this plane. Did I mention that? I really do. there's that squirreliness again. Alright, we'll do a little high-performance getaway. I always forget which one this is called, an Immelman or a Chandelle. I think it's an Immelman. It's a maximum performance climb and a maximum performance turn. That will get us back on the same heading, and we'll end up with us just shy of stalling speed. And let's see how we did. Not bad. Alright, good. Not climbing at a safe margin, though. But our VIP doesn't have to know that, and besides, she wants to get there early. And if we all die, then her worries about tardiness will be gone, gone, gone. Alright, we'll fly this one at 6,500 feet. What we really should do is we should come overhead of Castlegar and then spin our way down. That would be fun, but we're not going to do that. As cool as that would be. That would be very cool. Shall we? Probably not a good idea to climb this steeply anyway, because you've got no visibility for traffic. Alright, there we go. Again, we're going to pour on the juice here. It's a shame we're not in the Lance Air. We could do the rest of the flight inverted. That would be fun. Our VIP would like that. No, no, Mrs. Trump, that's the way it's supposed to fly. Let's see, did I take the right fork in the river? I think I did, yes. I knew I should have taken a left turn at Albuquerque. Alright, so get our rudder trim a little bit tweaked. And you can hand fly this airplane all day. It is that nice. I have to learn the secrets of mountain flying. You don't have a a reliable horizon, which is a little bit disorienting. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to overfly the field. We're going to fly out beyond it, loop around, and come back. And I do believe that... Yes, okay, that's the field. Good. And then what we're going to do is we're basically going to follow a road back. Yeah, we could do this dead stick a la Bob Hoover, but I don't know if I'm ready for that yet. Well, here, let's try it. Oh, well, I've got the damn gear warning, and I don't know how to shut it off, and it's going to be just a pain in the ass. Alright, so we'll get ourselves coming down. Let's see how low we can go before it starts to bark at us. Alright, that's good. Bring our props up. Get a little more drag out of the deal. Alright, going down at 4,000 feet per minute, that's not bad. And we're holding speed. This is not really the ideal way to do it because it is going to scare the wee out of people. But it's kind of fun. And then we'll get ourselves into a left downwind. There we go. Well, there's the end of the runway, so we can go gear down. So now the scenery has to load. Alright, one stage of flaps, and we're in good shape. We're going to scoot over the top of this hill right here. This is very similar to an approach that the Air Canada flies in with the Mighty Dash. Let's see, where are we? There we are. Okay. I'm going to turn around to the other side of this mountain and follow the road on down the hill. That road right there. The upper road, not the lower one. Alright, flaps, gear 3 greens, and it's windy. We're basically going to follow this upper road here. And look at that, red over white. We're good. A little gusty. There's our nice looking sweet runway picture. And what I'm going to do is get a wing into this wind here. And use the rudder pedal to... Oh, that's a lot of wing. There we go. Alright. A little bit expeditious, but not bad. We're going to miss our turn off, are we? Yeah, let's go to the next one. ground loop a plane like this. That would be kind of embarrassing. Can you imagine ground looping a tricycle gear plane? It would be pathetic. All right, Mrs. Cleaver, we're here. Brakes on. All right. Oh, Mrs. Cleaver, you want to see the landing? Sure you do. There we are. Nice approach. If I don't say so myself, or if I do say so myself, or if somebody says something. Now, instead of crabbing, I took out the crab and I lowered a wing into the wind, and I used the rudder pedal to maintain center line, but you'll notice as we come down, there was such a crosswind that the wing was dropped too much, so I eventually settled for a combination of a little bit of crab and a little bit of dip. I mean, obviously you don't want to touch down with a ton of crab because you'll stress your landing gear, but now watch, you see? I'm lowering that wing into the wind, and I'm crabbing in the opposite direction to maintain our direction of flight, but you can see it's pretty damn extreme. Look at that. So I take out some of it and I diddle around with the rudder pedal instead, and then we fight with it for a little while and land. And valiantly try to get off early for Mrs. Cleaver. Now let's just get a nice semblance of a Hawaii 5-0 shot here, because it'll be kind of dramatic with the crosswind. Look at that. That's about right. That's a good, that's a nice. We like. I love curving approaches. I'd wish, as a passenger, I'd been able to fly into Kai Tak in Hong Kong. That would have been swell. All right, so here we go. And in the real world, and to some extent in X-Plane, you get buffeted and knocked around a little bit because you're near mountains. I don't know whether it models wind rotating off of the mountains, but I know it seems to model thermals and things. So you see how I've got one wing low. And the wind just gives us a good push there. Look at it there. That's a firm wind. So, not bad. Kind of fun. I like flying in these territories. It's pretty and exciting, and there are a lot of good destinations. You can go from here to Nelson to Spokane, or you can go in the other direction to Chilliwack or Kamloops or Penticton, a bunch of other places like that, and down to Vancouver if you want. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, on that note, let's leave it there, and thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye from Castlegar.